Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Asyraaf Matric number 119004. Today I will present about article named Credit Risk Management for Sukuk, a case study of debt-based Sukuk. First, let's move to the introduction. Malaysia Ringgit is now toward becoming the choice of currency for Sukuk issuance. This is proven by the rise in Ringgit Sukuk market by the Gulf Cooperation Council borrowers, which comprise Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman and United Arab Emirates and Qatar, from 521 million USD last year up to 323 million USD in 2010. Despite of having promising demand for Sukuk, Malaysia also is in lead in the case of Sukuk default. As of now, there are more than 24 default cases happened in Malaysia since last 15 years. The reasons behind the default case that happened is driven by credit market and credit risk. Next, the issue of this article is how should credit risk be managed for Sukuk. It is the same as the credit risk management that is applied for conventional bonds. The objective of this article is to find the appropriate answer by focusing on the debt-based Sukuk such as Ijarah Sukuk, and to study on how credit risk can be managed in the Sukuk framework in order to strengthen the structure and to prevent it from default. Next, let's go to the analysis. There are two main categories of Sukuk, namely debt-based Sukuk and equity-based Sukuk. Rating Agency Malaysia Berhad showing that the debt-based Sukuk such as Ijarah, BBA and Murabahah is to be the most favorable financing contract among the issuer of the corporate Sukuk, and also contribute to the most case of default in Malaysia. In this article, the case that has been studied is the Sukuk Ijarah by Inggris Corporation Berhad. Inggris Corporation Berhad was incorporated in May 1991 with the main activity is manufacturing automotive component to supply the increasing number of car makers who were at blooming in the early 90s domestically and globally. The ICB chose Ijarah Sukuk structure for its cash flow flexibility, and for this purpose, Inggris Sukuk Berhad ISB was incorporated to act as a special purpose vehicle SPV to govern the whole process related to Ijarah Sukuk issuance. The Sukuk was issued with 7 years of maturity commencing in July 2004 and expected to mature at July 2011. There are two main reasons given by ICB in explaining the default situation happened. First is due to their credit management, and second is because of the economic financial crisis. Next, let's go to the indicator used to strengthen the credit risk management in Sukuk. First, portfolio diversification. Diversification is another problem for Sukuk market due to most of the issue are concentrated in real estate sector and only in two main geographical location. Some measure can help in improving Sukuk market efficiency and reduce its risk, and one of them is by exploring diversification of Sukuk issue in terms of their maturity, geographical location and sector of industry. Second, third party guarantee. The issue of guarantee generally arises as the Sukuk issuer benefiting from the Sukuk process establish a special purpose vehicle SPV that will issue the Sukuk, while the Sukuk issuer just now will only stay by it and act as a third party guarantee against any shortfall. The concept of the third party guarantee is a mechanism used to protect investor in Sukuk and is deemed to be permissible in Sharia. The problem with this is that normally the third party guarantee is the originator itself. Therefore, when default occurs and if the originator company cannot afford to make full payment, shareholder will suffer loss. It is better if the issuer or the originator company who wish to be issued Sukuk point another third party guarantee or associate company apart from the company itself, so the shareholder interest can be protected. And lastly, asset security or collateral. Sukuk framework has an asset backed to the structure which act as protection and collateral to the investor in the case of default. Sukuk are traditionally transfer ownership of the underlying asset to the Sukuk holder, who in turn earn return on holding an asset. Therefore, they are seemingly be safer and secure than the conventional bond. Because Sukuk are backed with tangible, identified underlying assets, they are thus exposed to some risk. One of the risks is when return to the investor are depending on the performance of the assets, and another associated risk. In Sukuk structure, as the transfer of ownership is now in the hand of the shareholder, thus the shareholder are responsible to any maintenance charge associated to the assets. However, there is another Syariah mechanism which called wakalah agent, which allow the owner of the asset to transfer the right of maintaining the securitized asset back to the issuer with certain fee is charged to the shareholder returns. For the conclusion, as for default case that happen and worries the Islamic capital market player, especially Sukuk, the more important thing is that the default that happen is not due to the Sukuk structure, but the way the institution manage deal with the credit risk management framework. The best strategy to help improving the situation is by strengthening the existing indicator, and even more indicator are need and to be explored to help solve the default problem, especially with regard to credit risk management. Looking at how Sukuk is performing now and where it's heading to, it is believed that market player will become more and more mature in solving default. That's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.